So on June 12th, 2002, I participated in something that people have been doing since we have existed. And in fact, it's so common that every one of us in this room have been through it. And on that day, there was a woman helping me. And she said something very, very important to me. She said, "Molly, you have to be willing to split in two." Split in two. That just sounds really hard to me. It sounds painful, and it sounds scary. And how would I do that? What gives me the capacity to be willing to be split in two? And in the end, on that day, it really wasn't like being split in two. It was shattering. And out of that shattering, I let out howls of my unbecoming. And out of those howls came something of unspeakable beauty. A baby girl. On June 12th, I gave birth. And I tell this story because, for me as an artist, it is the mother of all creative acts that I've been a part of. And out of that pain and messiness and all that that was, I did split in two, and something wholly new emerged to show me and my family and my community the way forward. When I talk about creativity, I am not talking about painting a beautiful picture of an apple or writing a song, though it includes that. When I talk about creativity, I am talking about the life force that lives within each one of us and is so essential. A life force that rises up from within us and reaches out to meet the life force outside of us and between us. So as an artist, I've been really interested in collaboration. And I've been really interested in how do we create spaces of creative exchange where we can bring what is most difficult, where we can bring our challenges, we can bring our uncertainties, we can show up exactly how we are and who we are. And it's not a place where we wonder, oh my God, am I doing it right? A place where there's no mistakes. There might be rigor, but no mistakes. And this is a very real challenge because meaningful participation is essential for our sense of well-being. To feel that you can participate, that you are valued as you are, that you're in a safe space. That's a very real thing. We collaborate every day, but do we really know what goes into collaboration? Are we really good at it? I'm like terrible at it. And I do it all the time. But I'm trying. But I think it takes real courage. So I want to tell you two stories. And the stories go a little bit into my ideas of splitting in two. And my ideas about courage and collective courage. And why creativity is so important. I do a project where we write music with people in hospice and nursing homes. And like a lot of my projects, this one's intergenerational. I like bringing together people across lots of different boundaries, people who don't usually work together. I like it because we build empathy, we build new stories, we build the capacity to be with each other, to witness each other, to feel each other in new ways and to feel ourselves in new ways and old ways. So I started this project. I'd just done this opera, commissioned opera, and I wanted to start working with some elders who couldn't get out of a nursing home. And we have a lot of nursing homes around where I live where, in this one, 80% of the people don't have active visitors. Pretty isolated. And so I went to the activities director who I'd known, and she said, there's Barbara's here. She's got stage 4 cancer, but I think she'd be really interested in working with you. And my idea was that we'd start writing music together collaboratively. And I say collaboratively because I do not think that helping is honest in this situation. I think by saying if I'm going there as a helper, I'm taking myself out of the equation and my transformation because we need each other to grow each other. That to me is honest. So I showed up and Barbara said, "Who are you? What do you want?" She's from Chicago, very grumpy. Very grumpy. She's in a nursing home all day. She's great. She's got a great, huge life force. What do you want? Hi, Barbara, I'm Molly. I'm an artist. I had this idea that maybe we could create something together. And she was like, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Right? I hear this all the time. That's that old version of creativity, like you have to do this thing as opposed to be who you are, right? And connect with what you love. And just be willing to bring that forward. And that's what I kind of said to her. I said, well, why don't I just come back, maybe we can talk about some things. And it's not about getting something out of somebody or extracting something or anything like that. It's about meeting, right? Being together. So it turns out she liked to sit with me, and I liked to sit with her. And so one day I asked her, Barbara, where do you go inside of yourself when you want to feel good or better? And she said, Molly, I go to the ocean. What ocean do you go to? Well, I've never been to the ocean. Oh. Do you want to write a song about the ocean? Sure, but I can't write a song. So the next day I came in with a little MIDI keyboard. Our playing something. Does this sound like the ocean? No, that doesn't sound like the ocean. We finally landed on this little ostinato pattern. Sounded like the ocean to her. What are some words that kind of make you think of the ocean? The waves caressing my body. The winds calling my name. After 2 months, Barbara and I co-wrote a song called I Am Searching for Life. And the chorus went, I am searching for life in the dark sea. And another month later, we performed that piece with a choir from a college. So all these young people come in, going to perform today, blah, 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 blah. They learned Barbara's songs, and suddenly they're standing in front of Barbara and her whole family and 150 other people. And they get it, right? Suddenly they get it. They're singing somebody's song at the end of their life. And it's clarifying, right? To include dying as part of living makes us stronger. It gives us courage. It shows us the way. Barbara's song lit a path for us into ourselves and together. She stood up with some help. We gave her some bouquet. She got up, she goes, I can't believe I did this. I was like, and that wasn't untrue. I mean, we wrote it together. She died the next day. And we often see this on this project. Something was released, right? Something was given wings. Barbara's courage, her willingness to be in the uncertainty, for us to be together in the uncertainty, but to go forward. That's something about courage to me. It's something about including fear, including it, but choosing something else. Second story. Got a commission to work on a collaborative project in rural New Mexico. So we have this thing at my artist collective that you don't go in. No going in. That's a colonial idea. Does not work. We like to be invited, have conversations. Takes time, takes a lot of time. We ended up being invited by a kind of a border town situation in rural New Mexico, 2 small Navajo communities, the village of Cuba, New Mexico, kind of Anglo-Hispanic, a lot of historical racial tension. And we realized that we needed to do workshops in all the schools, and then on Saturday we'd do a big, like all communities workshop that would switch the location so people would feel comfortable in different areas. We built an artist team of local artists and artists from Santa Fe. And the first day we walked into the school in Cuba, one of the teachers said, okay, look, you're going to meet this one student. He's really, really imbalanced. He has been diagnosed with this and this mental illness. His family's not around. Da-da-da-da, he's going to cause problems for you. We walked in the school. It took 3 seconds before we met him. Because he was like, he was just like, he was amazing. His energy was amazing. I didn't understand a thing he was talking about. But it was just like, what? It was just like, I don't even know, I don't have a scientific metaphor for what what he was doing. But, you know, he kept hanging around with us. And he was like there. Everywhere he'd turn, he'd be like, oh my God, there he is again, you know. And we had a filmmaker on our crew, and the filmmaker had been through stuff himself. And so when we started talking about what do we want to do? What do we want to do, right? I do community-sourced work. What do we want to do together? Filmmaking. Okay, let's make some films. Well, what do you want to make a film about? We asked him. I'm in a gang. I want to make a film about gangs. So the artist team was like, doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, so we're going to show the school a film about gangs when we're done. I mean, then, you just have those moments, right, where you go, what are we going to do? And we decided he was showing us about somewhere that he connected, right? We need to follow him. Trust the process. Let go. And we did follow him. And we made a film with him, but it wasn't about gang life. Exactly. Not like how cool it is. His process of making the film with the filmmaker and the team brought him into his own powerful questioning. He was allowed to start where he was at and go from there, and that is meaningful participation. That is not being told what you need to do or who you need to be. And a lot of people get a lot of messages about that. And we followed him. And I'm not saying like we're all great, la, 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 la. I'm telling you, it's just like, all I do is fall down and get up, and fall down and get up, because I don't know. We don't know. But he made that film, and at the end of 6 months, he stood up in front of 150 people in his community with that film, and stood up in those rodeo grounds and said, I did this. And he shifted the story of who he was and is, and by doing that, he shifted the community's story of who they were. And we went from inheriting stories that don't work to co-creating a story that does work. Creating spaces where we get to feel our personal courage, where we get to witness each other and be changed by one another. And we get to be in a creative space that connects with who we are and where we are. And there's curiosity, and there's discovery, and there's being alive. So when we hold ourselves back, or we hold somebody else back, and we don't even know sometimes how we do that, because there's so many systems at work doing that. But we try, right? We try to learn that capacity. We're stealing from life's unfolding if we don't bring ourselves and bring that vitality. So I'm going to go back to the splitting to finish this up. On June 12th, 2002, something else happened on that day. I gave birth. I also lost over half my blood. And I lost my senses one by one as I left this world. And I was in my little big near-death experience, and I experienced going to a place which was the end of suffering for me. And home, it felt like home. And I paused, and I turned back, and I chose to go back. Here. And when I got back here, what I felt was, oh my God, this is so many messy, conflicting things. It's beautiful, it's sad, it's sorrow, it's radiance, it's funny, it's terrible. It's all of it. It doesn't make sense, it makes perfect sense. And when I chose to come back, this is just my personal story of how I think of courage. I chose to be brokenhearted. I chose and I choose every day to let my heart split open again and again and keep showing up. And right now we are in great, great times of uncertainty. There is enormous loss and suffering going on, and we love our children. But the future generations are calling our names one by one. What do we love? And what are we willing to do about that? What are our actions, and how are we being courageous as individuals, as groups, as communities? This is the great invitation of the splitting in two. Thank you.